Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Monday, October the 10th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, global share markets enter the week sharply lower. Investors saw the Fed sticking to its aggressive tightening policy in the wake of stronger than expected jobs growth in the US and falling unemployment. Wall Street saw the Dow and S&P 500 slide more than 2%, while the Nasdaq lost around 4%, although the two-day rally earlier in the week was enough to push the indexes to their first week of gains in a month. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index fell 6% after a revenue warning from Advanced Micro Devices signaled a chip slump could be worse than expected. AMD shares falling close to 14%, with the company's third quarter revenue estimates about $1 billion lower than previously forecast. And FedEx fell on reports that it expects lower volumes as customers plan to ship fewer holiday packages. Well, jobs growth in the US slowed in September but was still higher than forecast. And in a sign the labour market remains tight, the unemployment rate dropped from 3.7 to 3.5%, suggesting the economy is not in recession and the Fed is likely to maintain its aggressive monetary policy tightening. Non-farm payrolls increased by 263,000 jobs last month, above the 250,000 consensus forecast. The participation rate fell slightly, while the jobless rate was lower, partly because of people leaving the workforce. And President Joe Biden said the jobs gains were an encouraging sign that we are transitioning to stable, steady growth. However, New York Fed President John Williams saying we need to get interest rates up further and basically get interest rates above where inflation is, and that could lead the central bank towards a target rate of around 4.5%. US Treasury yields climbed higher in response to the jobs data, with interest rate futures now pricing in a 92% chance of a 75 basis point rate hike by the Fed at its November meeting. US 10-year yields at close to 3.9%, the 2-year at 4.3%. Major currencies were weaker against the US dollar, the Aussie dollar falling back below 64 US cents. Well, the local share market is set to trade on Friday's global sell-off, which was triggered by stronger than expected US jobs data. ASX futures off 0.9%. Global oil prices jumped on Friday to 5-week highs as traders looked to strong demand in the US, while also accounting for the forthcoming production cut from OPEC+. The price of Brent crude was up 3.7% to $98 a barrel. Iron ore futures rose marginally, but fell more than 2.5% over the week. Base metal prices fell, with copper down around 2%, and spot gold was off more than 0.5% to $1,700 an ounce, but ended the week around 2.5% higher. And over the weekend, Bitcoin tumbled below 20,000 US dollars. On the data front, locally today, AIG Services Index, and in the week ahead, we get Westpac Consumer Sentiment. Wednesday, the Reserve Bank Assistant Governor speaks. Thursday, Melbourne Institute's inflation expectations. And overseas, we get the Bank of England Governor speaking, as well as US GDP figures, US Fed meeting minutes, and the all-important inflation read with US CPI, rounded out by the consumer sentiment on Friday. Well, that is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.